and you're able to join us today. If not, please stay warm. But welcome to another QB Power Hour. Today, we're going to be kicking off a series focused on QuickBooks Online Advanced. We did have one series last year that kind of talked a little high level on that, but we're going to be joined by a couple folks from Intuit, and we're going to be talking about what's new in QBOA. Michelle, who are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Long, CPA, located in the freezing tundra today, but very glad to be here. We are having rolling power blackouts, but I'm very thankful I'm not in Texas, and my thoughts and prayers go out to all of our friends down there right now, a lot of whom have not had power for a while. But anyway, trainer for Intuit since 2007, so I've been working with Intuit for a long time, and very glad to have you all joining us today. I will remind everybody, join us in the Facebook group. We've got over 10,000 members out there now. We'd love to have you continue the conversation out there. Enough about me. Dan, how about you?
Yeah, my name is Dan DeLong, co-host for today, owner of Danwith, where we transform businesses through technology. Formerly worked at Intuit for about 18 years. I've technically edited QBO for Dummies 5th and 6th edition, and new partner at schoolofbookkeeping.com. There was something I was going to say, but coming up on the QB Power Hour webinar, we've actually got a schedule now, which is very rare for us. But coming up next, we'll be talking about building share of customer with web solutions, and then we'll have getting clients to respond the first time with Lisio will be coming on and joining us. And then we'll be continuing with the QBO Advanced features. We're not going to rapid fire all the QBO Advanced features. We actually given you a little break with some other webinars in between. And then, of course, the PDF of the slides and the recordings links there, as well as the podcast. So we'll start off with our first poll, which is, what version of QuickBooks are you using? And let me just launch that. All right. So are you using QuickBooks Online, desktop, combination of both, maybe something else, or maybe just doesn't apply to you, and you just decided to join us today. Looks like a little bit of both is leading the pack here. So if you have specific questions, because we're going to be joined, we're going to introduce our guests that are joining us here from Intuit in a little bit. But if you have specific questions about what we're talking about here today, please put them in the Q&A part of the Zoom. Asking specific questions in the chat tends to get a little bit challenging to manage. So just go ahead and ask your question in the Q&A section. So I'll go ahead and I'll just end the poll here. It's almost like everybody's answered, and I'll share the results. So it looks like both 52% are doing QuickBooks Online and desktop, and then followed closely by only QuickBooks Online. So you're in the right place for sure. Okay, so the QBO Advanced series, just wanted to talk a little bit about what we did last year. We did have a series where we talked about some finding growth in the next 6 months and a real high-level overview of all QBO Advanced can do. And then we had an industry expert roundtable discussion about QBO Advanced. So those are available on our YouTube channel, so you can click and watch those, get you caught up to date if you haven't seen those in the past. Saw in the chat that we had a few first-time visitors today. But in the upcoming QBO Advanced webinar series, we're going to space things out about every third webinar or so. So our next webinar on this series is going to be in the end of March. We'll be taking a deeper dive in the custom fields. Matt Fulton is going to join us, friend of the show. He'll be coming in to really take some deeper dives into what you can do with custom fields. And then we'll have a QB Power Hour reunion. We're trying to bring on Hector Garcia to come on the mid-May one with the deeper dive into the reporting enhancements, which of course, if you follow Hector at all, he loves reports. And then in June, we'll be talking about workflows and tasks, those features. And then in August, we'll be talking about batch and importing transactions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our guests. So David and In, you guys want to introduce yourself or just kick it off from here?
Yeah, hey everybody. Nice to be here with you all. We're really excited to talk to you a little bit about QuickBooks Online Advanced, and we're excited to have a series going forward so that we can really dive into the depths of that. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. As Dan and Michelle mentioned, my name is David Toper, along with In, our I'm a marketing manager, he's a product manager, and we both work on the accountant team on the product innovation side of things. I've been at Intuit for almost 3.5 years now. In is in his first year now. We're technically both based out of Mountain View, California. Although I don't think In has ever actually been allowed into the office due to the pandemic. So someday In and I are excited to meet in person and give each other a hug after months of working on this project together. But yeah, we're really excited to be here today to talk about this. I think this is the second time since the pandemic started that I've put on a shirt with buttons. So it's a big moment for me here overall to talk to you today. And so what we want to talk, well, let's start with the poll question, I think.
Yep. What's that?
So we'd love to know how you're currently managing your firm's books. So as you might be using desktop, you might be using a demo company, you might have QBO as a client for your firm, or as a sandbox. So let us know of these 4 options, which one you're currently using for your firm.
And one of the things that we'll kind of talk about a little bit in as we talk about this, it came up as we were kind of meeting with you guys, is the situation back in like QuickBooks or the year like 2016 when it first became a free company for accountants, and a lot of accountants signed up for QBOA, got a free company. And then things were migrated to the platform of what it is today, but those companies were kind of left out as getting into the Your Books section of QuickBooks. And maybe you're in that kind of situation where it's you're a client of yourself because that free subscription of QBO Plus really couldn't get migrated into Your Books. But yeah, what do you use to track your books? Michelle, you're kind of in that position, right? Where your books are my
empty.
Company, right?
Exactly. Your books are empty because I don't use it because they when they did that rollover, it went in as my company as one of my clients. So it's in there with all my client dashboard or whatever. So Your Books is empty there. And I did see a good question in the chat is QBO Advanced available in Canada, or when might it be in Canada?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Unfortunately, QBO Advanced today is not available in Canada. I wish I had a good timeline to tell you on that. I don't know, but that's really helpful information that it's interested or that you're interested in that. So I can let our team know. I wish I had something better to tell you than that. I know you're freezing up in Canada. I saw that it was -6 there. So I wish I had some information to warm your heart with today. But thanks for letting us know that there's interest there. I'll make sure to pass that on to our Canada team and see what we can learn from that.
And that seems to be pretty high up on the list here as I'm sharing the results here. I use QBO, but as a client of my own firm. So not really using the Your Books. Maybe they, started just like what happened with Michelle, and they just ended up using it as their own. Maybe it's there could be another reason there. Maybe if you want to put that in the chat, like what the reasoning behind that is. Some people, I know when I talked to some people on the phone, it was they didn't want anyone to have access to their books at all. Like so. You could restrict that with client access as far as the team members are concerned.
Yeah, definitely. That's something we've heard quite a bit as we've kind of been going on this journey. It's something that's definitely important to us as we move forward, trying to figure out how we can make sure that that Your Books works for all of our accountants, that it becomes, an effective way to be able to manage your firm in the ways you need to control access, things like that, which is one of the many reasons we're bringing Advanced into Your Books over the next couple of months.
Awesome.
All right. So moving on. So wanted to talk a little bit about kind of what we've heard from accountants like you, and what we'll be doing over the next couple of months. So what we've heard throughout is we launched Advanced a couple of years ago as our newest version of QuickBooks, our most advanced, no pun intended, version of QuickBooks. But we've heard from a lot of accountants that they haven't had the opportunity to interact with QBO Advanced in a meaningful way. We know that some people have learned about it through usage limits, where their clients have had to move up to that because they've simply got too big, but not necessarily seen, what makes Advanced great. And that's been something that we've been working on constantly, is evolving the product, making sure it has the right features and functionality so that as your clients grow, they have the right tools that grow with them, that give them the right amount of customization and insights and things of that nature. And so we've been talking about ways that we can make that more available to accountants like you. We know we have a QuickBooks test drive, which if you haven't checked out, that's a great way to get a first glance of things. But it doesn't necessarily give you that experience of managing data that matters to you over an extended period of time. And obviously that's, the key to being successful in QuickBooks, is looking at things over a long time period. So that's what we're going to be doing, is all U.S. accountants will be able to manage their firm's books through what's called Your Books. You can think of it as the lower half of QuickBooks Online Advanced, or QuickBooks Online Accountant. That will now become QuickBooks Online Advanced. So we want to make sure that there's more features in there for you to manage your firm, to get the insights you need, the customizations you need to be able to successfully run your own small business. Also to have more confidence to recommend, to understand what the benefits of those features are, so that you can do what you do best, which is identify which version, which tools are right for your clients. And so we're hopeful that by giving you that experience, you'll have a better understanding of when this might be right for the client, when it might be a good time to move them over from desktop to upgrade from another version of QuickBooks, whatever that use case might be for you. And then finally, we want to make sure that this is the long-term home of the latest QuickBooks functionality. So one of the things we consistently hear from accountants is, hey, I need to be able to see what the newest, coolest tools are so that I can help my clients out. If they get it before me, that's not very helpful. We totally understand that. We're working to do better on that. And I think this is one of the big steps we can make there, is by making sure that this is the long-term home of that. As new functionality is available, we'll be able to bring that over to you so that you can experience it for yourself. Just to reiterate, and I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but who can access? So this is available to all US QuickBooks Online accountant users. Apologies to our friends up in Canada. It's not available there yet today, but when it is, we will of course let you know. Availability, I'll talk about this more in a second, but we're currently rolling this out to new accountants who sign up for the first time. Right now, existing accountants, like most of you, in April, will be seeing this functionality. I'll reiterate this a couple times here, but just know we will not be moving anyone's data during critical tax time periods. April 1st, I think April 18th, nothing will change there. We don't want to move anything when you guys have very important work to do. There's no signups required. This upgrade will happen automatically. We'll let you know when these changes come into place. And there won't be any changes with your data and the features you have. If you currently like how you're managing your firm through Your Books, you can do so in the exact same way. There won't be anything that changes there. There will be some additional features that will be available to you when you're ready to try them out. Maybe that's after tax season. Maybe that's after a little vacation after tax season. They'll all be available for you then, but nothing fundamental will change with how you're managing your firm's books in the interim. It's more of a choosing to utilize features when you're ready for them, as opposed to something fundamentally changing right now.
So David, that is, it's very similar to the rollout of the payroll, right? So like last year when the payroll lineup changed, there wasn't anything that people had to opt into. The features were just added. There's really not a whole lot of migration of data, but when we're talking about rolling out these new features, it's a lot easier. I mean, I don't know enough about coding to know what's easy or what's hard. But if you don't have any data to worry about, then it's easy to just start off with these new features like the people in Texas, they're getting fresh snow. But it's easier to start off that way. A little bit more complicated when you actually have existing data in your company file, right, David?
Yeah, it's a little bit, well, from a technical perspective, it's more complicated to move some of that stuff over, and of course we want to make sure that that's done right without any issues, which is why it takes us a little bit longer to get to those. But fundamentally, in terms of how that looks from your end, you shouldn't really see any major changes. I think one of the common questions that we get is, there's QuickBooks Desktop, there's QuickBooks Online, now there's QuickBooks Online Advanced. Is that fundamentally like a different product that I have to learn? And I'd say by and large, the answer there is no, in the sense of QuickBooks Online Advanced functions from a kind of user experience, how it looks and feels, how the buttons work, the shortcuts, almost identical to QuickBooks Online Plus. It's just a matter of, here's a couple of cool new things that you can take advantage of in the product that you learn on top of that. But it's not like you have to go in and learn a completely new product in the same way you might have had to do a ways back when QuickBooks Online came onto the scene.
Got it. And how will people know when their number's called? Right? Is this like the COVID vaccine? They have to register, or does it just happen and one day they log in and poof, they haven't? And how would they know?
Yeah, In and I are going to go door to door and knock on your door and let you know. We're going to have like a gigantic sort of check style thing, like Publishers Clearinghouse. No, you'll when you get migrated over, and spoiler alert, we'll give you some insights in case you want to get migrated earlier at the end of this webinar, so stick around for that. But when you get migrated over, you can expect to learn about it in two ways. One is there will be an in-product notification letting you know that, hey, these features have been added. You'll see on the Your Book section something clearly notifying you of what those new features are, as well as there will be a little bit of a walkthrough that takes you through that new experience, as well as you'll be getting an email from us right around the time that you're migrated. It might be a few days later. We're still working out the kinks on that one, but in that time frame, you'll get an email saying, hey, these features have been added. This is where they are. This is how to learn more. So you'll be very clearly notified when sort of your number is called in this migration schedule.
Got it. Great.
Cool.
Let's continue on.
So let's talk about those features really quickly. So as I mentioned, we know at Intuit, and we always strive to take this experience and bring it together. That is that, you as an accountant, when you experience new features, your clients benefit. The more that accountants have the opportunity to try things out, play around with them, let us know what's working, what issues there are, kind of define some of the use cases. That's one of the things that I really like about working with this group is we bring a new feature to accountants and they tell us 5 or 6 different ways that they can be using it that we might not have even thought of yet. So we know that when you have the opportunity to experience these new features, you'll benefit and your clients will benefit as well. So this is kind of a laundry list of the different areas where Advanced kind of goes above and beyond what you can find in your current QuickBooks Online through different reporting and insights, which we'll talk about. More custom fields are available to you that you can use in more places. There's opportunities to use batch transactions, batch invoices so that you can work quicker. There's a lot of cool things being built in right now around workflows and task managers so that you can set up processes within your own teams so that if, someone completes a certain task, it lets the other person in the chain automatically know that it's now to them to do the next step, that it's been approved, whatever that may be, so that things can work better. Chart of accounts, classes, and location, those are unlimited. And those are all things that will be available in the first version moving over. There's a couple things that will take us a little bit longer to migrate over. So you'll see these things eventually, but it will be a little bit further down the road. One is custom user roles, so being able to give your team really granular access to your books so that the right folks can see the right bit of data. Right now in QuickBooks Online Accounting, if you've used it, you have the opportunity to restrict that. So not everyone in your firm can see that data, but it's sort of like people can either see all the data or they can't see any of it. One of the great things about QuickBooks Online Advanced is custom user roles and being able to give people access to, exactly the point of information that they might need. So I think one of those examples is always around like sales and sales managers, having them be able to see the data around their specific clients, but not necessarily see your full books and your profit and loss and things like that. The other thing is online backup and restore. That is one of the things that will be moved over. People know this largely as Chromebooks. That's now integrated in QuickBooks Online Advanced because we do need to household that data. That takes us a little bit longer to get moved over, but that is part of our migration plan. And finally, what we're calling premium apps. So some of these new integrations and things out there, some of these are actually going to be available sooner than we thought. So we're excited about that. But for example, things like we have like a Salesforce connector so that if you're using a CRM system, the ability to connect up your data through that or through a HubSpot. If you use, an advanced version of Bill.com, things like that. You've probably heard, this isn't relevant for accounting firms, but you've probably heard Linda Artesani out in the world talking about her love for lien law. There's an integration there with that. So we're working to bring that to folks as well. And one I wanted to just make sure that I did address here is Fathom. So Fathom is included in the cost of QuickBooks Online Advanced. Unfortunately, it's not available to accountants included in the version of Advanced that will be in your books. However, you can sign up for an account for Fathom and integrate your data together with that. Unfortunately, we can't include that as part of the free offering here, but it is certainly something that you can sign up for. You can go and get connected up there, take advantage of that, utilize that for your firm. It's just not automatically included there. So I did want to make sure to address that head on. I knew that was a question from a lot of folks last week as they were talking about that through the Facebook group.
One thing I wanted to ask you, David,
yeah.
and just to speak to the premium apps, Melio is included with all versions of QuickBooks Online. That would not be considered a premium app that you're talking about, right?
No, Melio is included and continues to be included, so you can use Melio if you want. We have different versions of billing softwares like Bill.com. We have more things coming down the road that we'll be talking more about in the future. But there will be kind of this new class of apps available that can integrate, that have that we've made sure that really work to the top levels. So those are kind of the things that will be coming soon. But things like Melio that you've already seen will not be going away. They'll continue to be here.
All right, great call out.
Here's just a quick view of what you can expect. So as I mentioned before, this is what you'll see, a version very similar to this when you get moved over. So there will be a clear notification on your QBOA screen letting you know that Advanced is now available for your books. As I mentioned before, kind of this is the bottom half of QuickBooks Online Accountant. If you haven't paid attention to this recently, so you'll be seeing new tabs pop up. We'll let you know what those are, how to use them. As you go into them, each of them have sort of a quick demo that you can use to experience it, that let you know how it works, takes you through the steps by steps, connects you to YouTube videos that show you how to use the feature. So everything that you'll be seeing, it will make sure that it's easy for you to kind of get that first view of that, as well as we have various webinars that we're already conducting and trainings that will give you kind of a showcase on that.
So you'll get this black overlay, and you have to actually click on "Got it" in order to realize, oh yeah, there's a change. And plus, you have those little purple, magenta, whatever your shade of color is, new. So tasks and workflows will have the little badge associated with it. Who gets this overlay? Is it the first person to sign in after it happens? Or is it only a master admin, or is it just anybody who logs in after that migration has taken place?
That's a good question. I think how we have it set up now, and if people have strong feedback on this, we're willing to listen to them. But right now, I believe it's set up so that when you, as an individual who logs into your firm, if you have access to your books, the first time you log in, you'll see this regardless of your role, as long as you have your books access. And when you click on it, it will go away and it won't pop up every single time. I know that sometimes we've had that issue where it's like, why would this go away? So you when you log in, will see it for the first time. Assuming you have access to your books, so that you know that these changes have happened. So it should be that
every person who has access to their books the first time that they go into your books or into the firm after that's happened, they'll all individually have to acknowledge that something's changed, right?
I believe so. And you can correct me if I'm wrong here, say that I'm completely making stuff up, but I think that's how we're setting up.
Yeah,
that's correct, David.
In needs to calm down a little bit. He's a little bit too talkative over there.
He's fired up. I promise we're going to bring him on in a second so you can stop listening to me.
In that that's true.
Yes, that's true. Just like David said, it's going to be this pop-up is going to show for all users, so that we can notify all users who's using QBOA. But if you have like strong opinions about it, just let us know.
Fantastic.
Awesome. So as I mentioned, but just to reiterate, if you're a newly registered accountant and go to sign up, in the next couple of weeks, you'll be seeing that access available on sign up. So as mentioned, that's because it takes us a little bit longer to migrate the data over. We want to make sure for existing accountants that everything's working right. So that's why we do new accountants first. If you're an existing accountant, you can expect to have access by the end of April. Sometimes things change. We'll be monitoring things to make sure that they're working correctly. So just putting that caveat out there, but as I mentioned, critical tax time, no changes will be made during that time. We want to make sure that we're staying far away from any changes. We know that the last thing on your mind is some new feature within your books at that point. So we'll be making sure to leave things alone during that period, and we'll resume that migration process after the fact.
Because if anyone loves change, it's accountants, and if you want it at an ideal time, it's right before tax season, right?
Exactly. So yeah, we want to be cognizant of that. We totally understand that for a lot of folks, this isn't going to be something you're going to be jumping in to use on March 30th, even though it's there. So as I keep mentioning, there won't be anything fundamentally changing about that. So get through your tax season, take a well-deserved break, and then we hope you come back and give these features a shot and let us know how you're using them and whether you're liking them.
And David, so I have a question for you. Oops. So David, sorry, I was muted. I've been answering questions and chatting and things like that. I haven't been paying close attention, but earlier we did mention those people like me who have my company and it's not in your books. So is all this going to roll out for us as well, or what's going to happen with us? And you might have said that and I missed it, but I saw several questions about that as well.
Yeah, so for folks that have their data in that My Company, we're going to have to go through a bit of a migration process to move your data over. We've been talking with our customer success team on that so that they're able to help you with that. It is going to be a little bit of a process. Unfortunately, I wish I had a great answer that it would be moved over automatically, but that is something that we can help you do. Through the process is get that data into your books if you want to take advantage of these features, but they won't be available in that existing QBO Plus company that you currently have.
Okay, so we probably will be the later group to have this happen. Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we are ready for demo time if In is ready to rock and roll.
I am ready. Thank you, David. So let me take over the screen. So just to introduce myself, my name's In. I'm a product manager from Intuit QuickBooks team, online accounting team. And I've been working with David on this upgrade. And I'm really excited to share the demo with you today. So I just wanted to point out some of the visible changes that you'll see if you already have QuickBooks Online account. So number one, you'll be able to see tasks and workflows here under your books. And just like David has pointed out, you're not going to lose any data that you already have. and all the functions and all the features that you already have are going to stay intact. We're not going to make any changes to those. And also under plus new, you'll be able to see batch transactions, and in the settings menu, you'll be able to see custom fields and also manage workflows here. So those are some of the new features that you'll be able to see. And I'd like to give you a demo of custom fields and batch transactions today. So starting with custom fields. So what custom field does is that you can specify a specific data field for customers or transactions or vendors. Give me just 1 second. There's a connectivity issue.
Never fails.
It's that bad weather.
We are live.
Should be there pretty soon. Just 1 second. All right.
Is it coming back up?
Yep, should come up pretty soon. There you go.
There we go.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so going back to custom fields, you can specify, you can set specific data fields for either customer, transaction, or vendor. So some of the data types that you could set for custom fields is text and number, date, and drop-down list. So just to give you an example of a use case, so let's say you want to provide high-touch service to your clients, and you want to keep track of anniversary or birthday for your clients. You can create a data field named birthday, and you can attach this data field to a customer. And in this case, you do not have to specify a specific form for this. And if you click save, and you click date, set date as the data type and save. And then you should be able to, let's do this because I already have the data field with the same name. But if you give different name for this, you'll be able to save it, and you should be able to see this specific custom fields for your customers. So whenever you create new customer, you can attach this birthday to a specific customer. And you should also be able to see birthdays, specific custom fields in the list of customers as well. And just to give you,
and that's the really cool idea about that is because you can specify the type of field, then that leads into reports, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you can also. Yeah, I can actually give you a demo of that as well. So let's say this time you want to do specified sales representative for your transactions. For example, with sales receipt or invoices, you can also do that as well. And you can have, like, for example, do a drop-down list for this. Let's do David, Dan, and Michelle. And you should be able to see these custom fields in your invoices as well. So I'm going to invoice. And you should be able to see sales representative right here. And then just like Dan, you said, you should be able to, you can also have this custom fields imported into your reports and forms as well.
And on top of that, like, because it's a date range, I mean, it's actual date, you can do a date range like you can with any other date on a report. Like you can that's I think the taking it to the next level when it comes to custom fields like this is that it now is a report filter or function that you can utilize based off of the type of field that it is. So, a lot of people that are familiar with desktop and going into enterprise, this is like, oh yeah, this is what took you so long to get it to get this to happen. But when you realize, oh, this is things you can build, you can specify this field, and now you have that type of level of reporting. It really just kind of I mean, I don't want to say it's a game changer, but I mean, it is taking those things to the next level of what you can do inside of QuickBooks for clients that maybe online really wasn't a great fit for.
Exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right, Dan. And you can also do a search using those custom fields if you want. So going to search and you can do advanced search, and you can use the custom fields that you specify to do a search for those specific data fields.
Now, it still doesn't create a commission report because that's what people want. Is that's what they want to be able to create the automatic commission when they have sales reps like that. But this is a step.
Yes,
baby
definitely
steps.
Right? Cool, awesome. So with that, we can move on to batch transaction, which is my another favorite advanced feature. So with batch transactions, you could import, you could input large amount of data in one batch, and you could do this for invoices, bank deposits, sales receipts, checks, expenses, and bills. And what I really like about this is that all the data you have in your books is pre-filled in here, so you don't have to type it all of them like manually, but you can just select from the drop-down field. And you can also do, if you're inputting lots of invoices, similar invoices, you can simply do a duplicate invoice, so you don't have to type them all of them manually. And another favorite part is that if you have data in a spreadsheet format, you can simply just copy over the data from, say, Excel spreadsheet, and you can just paste them into batch transactions so that you don't have to type them over. Then you should just save it.
Do you have to format like the columns exactly the way that you want to paste them? I mean, does it?
Yeah, so
that would be help. That's like an important safety tip there, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So you do have to order the columns as it shows up in the batch transaction, but you can move around the data, the columns here in transactions, so that's easier for you to copy over. You can also, again, like you can also use custom fields here in batch transaction as well.
Nice. Can you? There's a question in the Q&A. Will the batch invoicing pull from time to bill? Do you like if you have billable time? Will it pull in here?
Oh, so actually, so I do not know the answer
to
that.
throw you off.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So just like David said, I'm only new to the product myself, so sometimes I do not have the answer to all of these questions. But if I can follow up offline, I can definitely do that and see what we can do. All right, so that actually concludes my demo. Is there anything else they want to look at? Dan?
Yeah, so
go ahead,
so
Michelle.
I saw a question in here from Colby. So you showed us how you can copy and paste from Excel into the batch transactions. And somebody said, oh, swoon, they love that. But the question then is also, Dan was asking about getting the columns in the right order. Do you have templates available for people to download of the order of all the columns and what they should be? So do you have a template for invoices or for checks or whatever? Do you have templates?
No, so we do not have specific template for this because this is going to be dependent on the specific columns that you set. But as long as you have the spreadsheet same as the data that shows up in batch transaction, you should be able to import the data from there.
Okay, so if somebody has an Excel file that they're wanting to import, they should make the columns, customize these columns to match what your input is. Gotcha.
That's correct. And that's because there's these columns are so customizable. So there isn't going to be one template that's going to fit every use cases.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Kathy asked a question. Can you add a custom fields, going back to custom fields, on a chart of accounts? Any plan or roadmap there? And I mean, not today, right?
Right. Again, I do not have the answer for that. So I can, but I can connect with the team to make sure where we stand on the roadmap for that.
Okay. And James was saying in advanced, even right now, you can only have 3 custom fields on a sales form. As far as, and I think, James, if you want to clarify, when you print the sales form, you can only have 3. Is that true? Is he correct in that assumption there?
No, so actually we have modified the feature so that you can actually add more than 3 custom fields to the forms if you want. So that has been recent improvement
recent
to the
change?
feature. Exactly, yep.
Awesome.
So if you want, you can add more than 3.
So as long as you have the advanced custom fields option, you can have more than 3 on a sales form.
That's right.
Awesome. All right. So is there, you were only going to show those 2 features, or were you going to go into the other?
So those are the demo that I prepared for today. But if you like to go into something else, we can also do that.
Because there's 4 major areas that we're going to be kind of highlighting in this series. But I guess you don't, the report enhancements, probably not there yet, right? I mean, that's still kind of coming.
No, I can actually quickly visit that as well. So with Performance Center, what you can do is you could also create custom charts that tracks the data that you want to track. So for example, you can create a new chart. Let's say you want to create custom charts for expenses, and you should be able to specify a specific data that you want to track. For example, if there's like specific expense type that you want to track, you could specify it and create a custom chart for that. So it's not only showing here because we do not have like enough data in this test account, but if you have data, you should be able to see the charts created.
And that's one of the areas that I think we're really looking to continue to expand on within QuickBooks Online Advanced, and then of course bringing it into QuickBooks Online Accountant is around reporting and providing more customizations to that report so that you can get the data that you need there. A sort of a pro tip for you all, you may have already seen Performance Center because it's actually already in QuickBooks Online Accountant. We recently added that in, so that it's almost like a little preview of what was to come. So you can actually go into your books and go into Performance Center and check that out right now, which has a lot of cool things like these custom charts that Im was showing you now. You can add in your industry and get industry benchmarks on top of that. So you can see some cool data on your firm today. And the other thing that we've added in there that I hope you've seen. If not, I need to do my job a little bit better, but you can actually check out the Performance Center for any of your clients today, regardless of whether or not they have QuickBooks Online Advanced. So that's a way that you as an accountant can experience one of the features and get some more functionality than any of your clients have available today. Is if you go into your client's books and go into that reports tab, you can actually see the Performance Center, which is a great way for you to get some of those key insights that we know are so helpful to provide to your firm about how their business is doing, some of these critical things you have here, how they're doing versus their industry peers, things of that nature. So if you're looking for a way both to try something out today, you can go and try that out right now. And it's also a great way to see something on behalf of your clients, get a little bit more insights that you can share with them, or decide this is something that's really cool. And maybe that's the reason why they might want to consider upgrading to advanced, is so that they can have these charts at their fingertips and be able to check them out at a moment's notice, be able to log in here on a daily basis and see how their business is performing without, requiring you to do that. So it's kind of a cool way to be able to, go in there, help them set it up in a way that works for them, and then they can go, whenever they need and be able to see that without having to call you up and say, how am I doing this month? It's available at their fingertips.
Well, and David, speaking about your fingertips, one of the things that I love about this is the ability to quick add those charts up there. I mean, I remember when I had to actually run the report, export it to Excel, go over there, create the charts and graphs, manipulate the data, and yada, yada. And you had to redo that every single time. But with this, I love how easy it is to create those new charts and then just have it updated all the time. I mean, it's such a huge time saver. And I always used to comment that my clients would never look at the reports they liked the picture book, the charts and graphs. They would look at a picture book and understand the results much better than if you just give them reports. So I love the charting and the quick charts that you can add in there.
Mhm. Absolutely. So we're hoping that this, with using Percenter, you should be able to provide more higher tier, like added value advisory services to your accounting clients. And some of the new features that we have on the roadmap is you should be able to move around this custom charts so that you can order them as you like. And you should also be able to export this and print the report and send them to your clients, or print them out if you want.
It would be nice if we could export them to Excel so you could do what ifs over there on some of them, not all of them, obviously, but on some of them you might want to do what ifs.
Yeah, so some of those export features are something that the team is working on, and you should be able to see them pretty soon.
Awesome.
All right, well, let's kind of bring this in for a landing here. So we just kind of want to, David, if you want to present, or do you want me to present the last few slides?
Sure, I will steal the screen. I will not talk through these in details because we've been covering them, but let me just kind of walk you through sort of the core areas and remind you all where we'll be talking about next. So as Dan mentioned at the start, over the next sort of every 6 weeks or so, I think is the timeline, we're going to be bringing in a QuickBooks expert to talk about some of these areas with you also. We know where our expertise ends, and bringing in pros like Matt and Hector along with Michelle and Dan is really where you guys can learn the most. So over the next couple of months, we'll be talking more about enhanced custom fields and how to really take advantage of that. Some of the custom reporting that's out there through the Performance Center, as well as diving more into some of the stuff around tasks and workflows. We didn't have a chance to talk about that today, but I think that's one of the really fun ways to take advantage of this and really collaborate well with your team is through some of the automated workflows that are already in there. And you can also use tasks to create your own customization there. And then finally, as I mentioned, custom roles is coming soon. So we don't have anything to discuss specifically on that, but that is available to your clients, and it will be available at some point in the near future for your firm as well. And then finally, batch imports and batch invoicing and expenses is another great way to be, really speeding up your workflows so that you can be focusing on a lot of that value-added work that you bring to your clients overall. So there's 3 ways to learn more, and I will post these in the chat, as well as I think you might be able to click through these on the handouts if PowerPoint or PDFs is cooperating. So Firm of the Future, we have an article about this change that's up right now that kind of goes into the details that I just discussed about what's changing, what's coming. We're going to be doing more there over the next couple of months, highlighting some of the benefits, having some folks come on to talk about ways that they're excited to use advanced features in your books. So check that out, and there'll be more of that coming over the next few weeks, couple of months. As I mentioned, there in the training tab of QuickBooks Online Accountant is the QuickBooks Online Advanced Specialty Training. I know this naming convention is confusing, and we apologize for that. We will figure this out someday, but the Online Advanced Specialty Training is different than the Online Advanced Certification. So the specialty training is specifically about QuickBooks Online Advanced. We need to figure out some synonyms over here. But you can go in there and take a self-paced training that will walk you through the features and the benefits of QuickBooks Online, give you a deeper dive into those details overall. As well as we host 3 webinars each month on QuickBooks Online Advanced that you can see through what's called, if you type in QuickBooks Accountant University, that's really focused on different aspects of Advanced. So one of them is a deep dive into the features and the benefits of that. And the other 2, one is focused on, how do you identify which clients are right for QuickBooks Online Advanced? What are some of the things that you should be thinking about when you're thinking about moving them up or moving them over? And then finally, one of them is really focused on that migration process so that you can make it as easy as possible to get them up and running as quickly as possible so that they can be working on that. So those are 3 ways that you can be learning more today. Those are all available right now. And then finally wanted to plug this. I know I talked about this a couple times, but as we mentioned, if you do nothing, which is totally fine, sometimes doing nothing is the best thing to do, you will be moved over in the next couple of months to QuickBooks Online Advanced in your books. But because we like you and we've had a good time today, we wanted to provide an opportunity. If you're interested in getting access to these features sooner rather than later, we'll be moving over a very small subset of accountants next week to this advanced functionality. So if you're interested in doing so, you can fill out this quick request form. It's like 5 pieces of information that we need from you all. If you go to surveymonkey.com/r/QBOA Advanced, there's 2 A's in there. We'll also post that link in the chat.
I did. So
awesome. Dan's on top of things. Perfect. Yes. So fill that out. If you add in your information, basically what we need is your company ID, as well as your email address. Those are the information that we need so that we can figure out who you are on the back end and make sure we're giving this functionality to the right firm. If you give that to us, you'll have the opportunity to move over as kind of a little bit of a small beta we're doing. So just so you know, if you want that, don't forget, we since we are moving it next week, we need to have that information by February 18th. We're hopeful that anyone who's interested will be able to move over, but space is limited, so we can't guarantee that, but we will, of course, let you know if you are in that beta so that there aren't any surprises there. So just want to plug that on our side. Yep.
So David, just to clarify, that early access would not be for people like me who have it in my company, right?
So it would not move your data over if you have your data in my company. It would, Michelle, you could go and sign up for that early access today and bring it over into the Your Book section. Your data just wouldn't be in there yet. So, you could do that and then we can help you move your data over, but it wouldn't impact your existing data. So it would almost be kind of like a sandbox situation for someone like you if you want early access.
Gotcha.
A lot of people are asking, where do you find your company ID? It's a keyboard shortcut, Control-Alt and the question mark. Or if you're using a Mac, it's Control-Option and the question mark is the keyboard shortcut to bring that up.
And David, let me just ask something here, because I may have missed this over the years with all the changes and updates. In the past, we used to tell people not to use your books as a sandbox or a practice company or anything like that, because the customer or the client names in your books synced to your names on your client dashboard. And we didn't want people having a bunch of, other names. And so we used to tell people only use your books for your firm's books. Don't use it for a client, don't use it for a sandbox because of that situation. Does it still do that? Do you know, or has that changed?
That is a very good question. I do not know that answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is the first time I've heard of that.
So then I wouldn't recommend people use it as your books. It used to sync the customers that were in your books with your client dashboard, the list of your companies on your QBOA dashboard. So we always told people only use your books for your books. Don't use it as a sandbox or a client or anything like that.
I can actually take that. So you're right, Michelle. So the clients list are going to sync. So the clients list will push over to your books as well. So if you want to use your books to just as a test drive and use it as a sandbox, our recommendation will be using the test drive available for QuickBooks Online Advanced. So you're right, Michelle.
Yes, and there is a sample company, just like there is for QBO, and we've all used Craig's Design and Landscaping. QBO Advanced does have a sample company, so you all can go out there and play around with it, and it's got some data in it and things like that. So I would recommend using the true test drive, like Ian mentioned.
Yeah, and if you do go through any of our trainings that we mentioned above, they reference the sample companies. That's often that is what you'll use through that. So if you go to that, you'll see how to get to that sample company as well.
Was there any other links or things? Oh yeah, you do have the. You had it on the next slide. So if you get the handouts, the last 3 has the test drive, the overview video on YouTube. and the detailed information about QuickBooks Online Advanced. But yes, that's very confusing with the QuickBooks Online Advanced training and the QuickBooks Online Advanced certification. It's right up there with elite. I think you using that word over and over again. At least it's not pro, right?
Exactly.
Pro's kind of gone in the back burner there. Michelle, do you see any other questions that we want to maybe ask our panel here? There's this one here. It is off topic, not QBOA, but cash flow and QuickBooks Cash functionality in your books. What can accountants get access to that? Is that, or is there maybe can speak to that, or can you say?
So cash flow is actually SKU independent. So if you want to sign up for cash flow, as far as I know, you should be able to sign up for it. So it does not matter if you have like QBO online accountant SKU or like some other subscription. But again, like
accountants actually don't have access to it. They need to either, if they have it in their client, they have to switch to Business View to maybe have access to it. But QBOA, your books, does not have the ability for accountants who have a QuickBooks Payments account to use cash flow as an option.
Understood.
Yeah, I can speak to that. I know that's an area that isn't available today. I've spoken with our product manager on that. There's some security issues that they're working to clean up on that. I know that's something that they're trying to figure out if it's possible. So I don't have a great answer for you today, but we do know that is an issue, and it is an area that we're trying to figure out if we can make that access available. So I will continue to raise this with my friend over on the QB Cash team to see if there's a timeline for that, and if that is available, we will of course make sure that you all know here so that you can spread the word.
And what's the best way to, as these features come out and people have, now they have access to these features, but now they want to provide some feedback. What's the best way for accountants who get these features to provide feedback to you, David?
So
cell phone number? No.
Yeah, just give me a call. Just yell for my dog, Frankie.
Door to door.
The dog will come and pick them up for you so we can maintain social distancing. No, in the product, there's actually a little feedback button there with a little link. So you can fill that out in product. Write what you like, what you don't like about it, what you're looking for changes on, and that gets directly to us. So that sends us a little email or a Slack message to us, the rest of our engineering team, so that we can all see it at once. So I'd say that's the best way to get information back to us, is through that feedback form. It's a great way to let us know specifically. In that way, we can know exactly where you were in the product when you had this question come to mind, instead of us trying to be like, what? I think I know what they're talking about, but I'm not sure. So I definitely recommend that as the first place to go with feedback on new features as you try them out.
Yeah, a lot of people feel like that is, it's just like throwing stuff over the wall. But time and time again, we're realizing that people actually do read that feedback and categorize it and quantify it. Just because you're not getting a direct response, an immediate change the next day, doesn't mean that it's not being looked at and qualified and quantified.
I was going to say that as well, Dan, is that, submit that feedback, because like David said, they really do look at it, and like Dan just mentioned, but don't sit there and say, well, gosh, Intuit's not paying any attention. They're not listening to me, because you're not usually going to get a response, but they are paying attention, and they are capturing all that. And the more people that request certain things, the higher priority it gets. So.
Fantastic. Any other questions that you saw, Michelle? We've got, we're just at time.
Just one here. Yeah, somebody asked about a client who has a discounted subscription from years ago. How does the switch to advanced change the subscription? So I think it would be like just anybody else is, if they're already your client, if they're already on your wholesale billing, you can move them to the wholesale pricing for QBO Advanced. If the client was paying for it, and then you want to convert them, now, I don't think you can add them to your wholesale billing anymore. Is that correct?
That's correct. If they're not currently on wholesale billing, then you can't move them over to that wholesale billing pricing. But you can if they are on your wholesale billing, then correct. The price, there's a wholesale billing pricing for advance that you can take advantage of for that when you move them over.
Right.
Well, awesome. Again, thank you, David. Thank you, In, for joining us today. And thank you all for attending. I know it's top of the hour, so if you've got places to go, please, people to see, we appreciate you staying for this long. And Michelle and I will see you next where we talk about building client share with a web solution. So look forward to talking with you in a couple weeks on the QB Power Hour. Have a great day.
Thanks everyone. Stay safe.
Thanks so much for having us.